My name is Earl, and if you clicked on this video, you might be interested in mace training. Welcome to E3 Strength, and that is exactly what we're going over today. If that's not the reason that you clicked on this video, stay tuned. You might find something of value. The first thing we're going to start with is a bicep curl. It's simple, it's easy. Since all of your resistance is on one end, the farther that you grip away from that end, the more torque, the heavier this feels. So this is only a 10-pound mace, and by grabbing here, it feels like 20 or 30 pounds. My other hand, that's not really doing any work, is simply just counterbalancing, preventing the torque. Now, if you want to make it easier, you can grab closer to the actual weight source, in which case you really don't need this hand. So you could do a single arm curl, in which case you're getting a ton more activation here in the forearm, and you're building up your grip and your wrist strength. So there's two different ways to do it. Two arms, grabbing as far away as you can manage from the weight, or you can go single arm, grabbing a little bit closer to the weight, and work on grip and wrist strength. All great benefits that will make your fitness routine that much better. The next move is the same concept, having the torque away from the body. We're going to work on an overhead press. Really simple, really easy, and it really helps to build up shoulder stability. However, if you have clicking, popping pain in your shoulders, don't be doing overhead presses. There are great ways to work your shoulders that won't cause problems. But if you can do this, that's an easy, simple move. And with any of these, you want to do both sides. Now, we can get a little more complex with rows. This is probably my favorite way to use a mace. Majority of the way we use this in a gym setting is somewhere in the later part of the workout as metabolic conditioning, or as a way to finish off a muscle group, since it requires a lot more focus, contraction, isolation, but you can do it with less weight. And that's what the mace is all about. So the first row you can do is a bent over row. But to do this, you've got to safely be able to hinge your hips and drive back. So if you haven't seen any of our videos on a Romanian deadlift or a bent leg deadlift or bent over rows, you might want to check that out. We'll be sure to leave a link in the description. Retract and squeeze, just like this. Obviously, you're working primarily just the one side. This guy is counterbalancing, just like we've talked about previously with the curl or anything else like that. The next move you can do is a single arm row where you have your weight behind you. So it's pulling back, this hand's going to stabilize. This is kind of a hard one to get. So as you hinge your hips back, you're in this position, this hand is pushing down to counterbalance, you're retracting and squeezing the shoulder blade just on the one side. A great metabolic finisher, and this is a great one that we do in circuit training, is where we use that curl grip that we learned earlier, and we do a switch grip squat. So holding just like this, squat down, as you come up, flip it over. This is probably the most metabolic and dangerous of the exercises, since this thing can go flying. Every time that you switch the weight to the outside, you feel it in that side hip and glute just a little bit more. Pretty easy, fun, really gets the heart rate up, and it adds a little biceps to your leg exercises. The next version of these exercises that we want to go over is a lunge or a split stance position. So getting back that neutral curl style grip, but with a double overhand grab, put this in a rack position if you're not good at doing overhead presses or you feel pain in your shoulders. If you want to do an overhead press, that just raises your center of gravity and makes your legs work that much harder. You can do forward lunges in this rack position, or you can do overhead to really challenge yourself and work a little more of your core. The last thing you can do are a couple crunch variations. Really, really simple stuff to work on your core. Think of any crunch that you've ever done, and you can pretty much do it with this. Again, double overhand grip. This hand is going to be supporting and preventing the weight from going from one side, and you can start with a traditional crunch. Great core activation, a little extra external obliques due to the torque on the outside of my body. Another version I can easily do is going into a knee tuck crunch, opposite knee of the weight that is on the outside of the body. Or you could do a swinging leg crunch, for example. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give us a like, a comment, or a share. And remember, this is a great tool to use because it's fairly affordable, between 20 and 40 bucks depending on where you pick it up at. And remember, you don't need a whole lot of weights. Start with a 10, that's all I use. Have a great day, we'll see you next time.